A New Hope, Nier Chapter 139 Fan Fiction by Azazyel. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel for listening and patreon.com/Azazyel to read all of Azazyel's stories. Time was very much of the essence here in this world of Reach. I was very aware that YoRHa, despite having many high-end elite troops in their androids and some hunter support from Remnant, couldn't win a protracted war against the Covenant. So in my mind, we had two objectives. A. The super space-time warping crystal here on Reach that the Forerunners used to power their ships and do their slipspace travel and be able to travel the length of the galaxy in but days. B. Hijack the Covenant super carrier in the Long Night of Solace, in order to have a large sample size of Covenant tech along with using its onboard facilities which could reproduce most of its own technology to basically get the whole Covenant tech tree. Those were the two major objectives that I believed White was aiming for. And of course White and the other androids were interested in interacting with Cortana should they get an opportunity to do so. So, how did the talk with the spooks go? I asked White through our comms and I could hear her barely hidden snort before she said flatly. They want us to stand down, and fold in with human forces. And worse, keep the Covenant's presence here on Reach secret rather than prioritizing the evacuation of the planet's civilians. She said with her voice filled with obvious disgust. There was a moment of silence as I shook my head at the arrogance of ONI before remembering how Halsey, who was up the chain, stole dozens, maybe even hundreds of kids from their homes in the dead of night and then did terrible genetic experiments on said children to make super soldiers with the sole purpose of making super soldiers to strangle the resistance forces of humanity that hated being colonies basically. I took a breath and then said flatly. Alright then. Just like before on Remnant then, we will be working without native support Commander White. Focus the operator units on getting the native humans off the world, should the worst come to pass. D units along with hunter support will be going for the Forerunner ship in the Menakite Mountains. I assume you guys already got its location from the ONI servers. White nodded at my question, so I coughed and continued as I looked up into the sky from my perch atop a building. Then before major Covenant reinforcement arrives. Or even human reinforcements arrive. With our elite combat units, I will take the supercarrier White. I said while sending down a list of resistance androids, and hunters we could trust on this mission to come help us purge the Xeno filth off their ship. I silently stared in the distance as White downloaded the list I put together of people I knew could be of help, and then she spoke. Very well, Jake. 4 dozen hunters and huntresses, 100 resistance androids with masso/dust weapons, and as many battle and executioner models as YoRHa can field. We'll go with you to take the supercarrier. She said, and in turn, I received a ping with several pictures of the massive ship that was floating in space, and I couldn't help a swallow at its size. The Long Solace of Night was utterly massive. It was the personal ship of a prophet for a reason, with the ship being almost 30 kilometers long, 12 kilometers wide, and 3.5 kilometers tall. It was utterly fucking massive, and I shuddered to imagine the crew size aboard the ship. Alright White, tell me when we are ready. I will be waiting till then. I said, and then cut off the call and teleported into my cabin that we had set up a line of, for the human members of YoRHa forces that had teleported onto the world.